Hello and welcome back. My name is Rutvik. As you know, we have started a series on tenses, and in the previous video we talked about simple present tense. I have mentioned a link of that video in the description. If you want, you may go through that video. Today we are going to talk about one of the most easiest categories in tenses, that is present continuous tense. I'm sure by the end of this video you will learn it. Now let's understand that when do we use this tense. There are many situations, and here I have mentioned a list. The first, to talk about the activities which are happening at the time of speaking. Now this is the most common situation, and perhaps this is what we have been taught all the times. But this tense is not just limited to this situation. There are many more situations in which we have to use this tense. For an example, to talk about planning and arrangements that we are doing for the future, we can use this tense. To talk about all the activities which are happening on a larger scale. To talk about the trends, economical situations, technological changes, and all the region-wide or country-wide changes, we can use this tense. To talk about the repeated actions. And the last, that's very interesting, while narrating a story or reviewing a book or a film, we can use this tense. I'm going to take each category separately, and I'll share some meaningful and real-time examples so you'll be able to understand this tense clearly. Let's get started with the structure first. So before we talk about the examples, it's very important to have a look at the structure. In this structure, we'll talk about both the sentences, positive and negative. For positive sentences, this is going to be a structure that is subject plus emissary plus ing form of verb plus object. Now the most important part here is to add ing to the verb forms. So if I give a few examples, work will become working, start will become starting, stand will become standing, run, running, go, going, and so on. So as we know, these are the subjects: he, she, it, I, we, you, and they. He, she, and it will take is, I will take am, and the rest, we, you, and they will take are. So the sentences would be something like this: he is coming, she is going, it is working, I am teaching, we are studying, they are standing, and you are working. Talking about the negative part, now this is a very easy part. The structure is very simple. We simply have to introduce not. So the structure would be subject plus emissary, not, ing form of verb, and the other words. So here is the list of the subjects. These are he, she, it, I, we, you, and they. And the structure would be with he, she, and it is plus not, I am not, and we, you, and they are not. So he is not working, she is not standing, he is not running, it is not barking, they are not coming, you are not worrying, and we are not working. So if you want, you may take a screenshot which will help you while making the sentences on present continuous tense. Now I'll share some examples on each category. These are the same categories that we discussed in the beginning of the video, and by going through the examples you can get a good clarity on this tense. Now the first is the most commonly used category wherein we use present continuous tense, and that is what we have learnt during school days and by learning tenses. For an example, all these activities which are happening at the time of speaking. To mention those activities, we use present continuous tense. These are the all activities which are happening at the time of speaking. For an example, a dog is barking at some distant place. So the activity of barking of a dog is happening at the time of speaking. A simple example, I am speaking now. You are watching my video. Adya is singing a song now. Look, the birds are flying. So often we use this tense with the words like look, watch, listen, etc. The next category is planning and arrangements. Now it will not be a matter of surprise if I say that we may use present continuous tense to talk about the future activities. Yes, that's right. For an example, if I say that I am going to eat mangoes this Sunday. Activity will take place on Sunday, but I can use this tense to talk about it. Like, Vivan is planning to go to France in September. He will go in September, but I can use this tense to talk about this activity. Likewise, Divya is arranging for his birthday party. Now obviously birthday has not yet come and he is planning for it. So we may use this tense. Keith and John are not going to have lectures. And the last, my students are going to attend online classes. So now if you look closely at all these sentences, we may talk about future activities by using the words like going to, arranging for, planning to, These are the all words which are being used in present continuous tense and to talk about the future events. The next, we may use this tense to talk about the activities which are happening on a larger scale. So any activity which started in the past, which is still in progress and which will continue in future. For an example, Miti is learning French language. So she started learning in the past, she is still learning today, and perhaps she will continue in future. Similarly, we may say that India is experiencing a sharp decline in GDP. So it's a long-term activity which started in the past and we may still experience it. Next, it says that it is raining in India. Now if I use this sentence during monsoon season and even though while speaking it is not raining, the sentence is right because we are talking about the continual events, all the events which are happening for a longer period of time. The next, it says that children are growing quickly. Again, it's an activity or event of a larger scale. And the last, you are improving in English. So these all are the gradual, long-term and larger scale events. To talk about such events, we may use this tense. Next, we may use this tense to talk about all the countrywide events or the worldwide events. For an example, the trends, growth, something which is in demand, the different rates like employment rate, death rate, literacy rate, the life expectancy, etc. For an example, we may say that online shopping is growing rapidly. So we may figure out that online shopping is in demand. Europeans are facing employment issues. So again, to mention about the countrywide challenges, we may use this tense. With improved medical science, life expectancy is increasing. Next, Canada is being a popular province for migration. So migrants may prefer to go to Canada due to certain reasons. It may be the good opportunities, employment rate. So Canada is in demand. We may use this tense. And the last, video-based learning is gaining popularity nowadays. Yes, this is something which is in trend. The next, we may use this tense to talk about the repeated actions. Now, if I believe that we had also discussed the same activity in the simple present tense, you can definitely use simple present tense to talk about the repeated activities, but in certain cases, we may also use present continuous tense. Here I have listed a few examples for your reference. The first says, it is so pleasing to see my daughter when she is laughing. So she is laughing is a present continuous tense and something which happens almost every day. Next, they are always fighting with each other. So again, it's an everyday activity. The next, it's always raining in Meghalaya. So it's a repeated action. Almost every day it rains in Meghalaya. So we can use present continuous tense. Next, it is Shyam is my friend. He's always putting me in trouble. Again, it's a repeated action. We may also use other sentences like he is arguing with me, he is asking many questions to me, he is annoying me, and so on. The last, Soham is always working till late night. So now to work till late night has become a habit of Soham, and hence it is an everyday activity. The last, while narrating a story or while reviewing any book or movie, we can use this tense. Here are a few examples. The first says, how strange, animals are talking in this movie. Perhaps we are referring to Jungle Book and in which animals are talking. The next, Jack is falling in love with Rose. You might be able to figure out this movie. Yes, that's Titanic. Since I am narrating a story, I am narrating one of the scenes of that movie, I can use this tense. Next, we have a sentence that says that the author is making us aware about the reality. Here we are reviewing any book and we are talking about it. Then we have the way Akshay Kumar is laughing is hilarious. We might be referring to any of the movies of Akshay Kumar. And the last, hero is killing all villains single-handedly. That's a very typical example which we see in Bollywood. So I hope that you are clear with all the categories and you have understood the sentence very well. Here comes something very important which we need to take care of. Now there are certain verbs which do not take ing form and we call it the stative verbs. These are the verbs which help us talk about thinking, feeling and sensing. For an example, I have listed a few here. Love, hate, prefer, like, dislike, sound, taste, agree, disagree and so on. So here are a few examples which I have listed which tell us about the incorrect usage of present continuous tense, which you can see right here. Now there is a small task for you. You have to convert these sentences into the right forms. How can you do that? I'll share a hint with you. You simply have to convert these sentences into simple present tense. Now I'm sure that you are aware about the concepts and the structure of simple present tense because we have just talked about it in the previous video. So now you can pause this video, you can write down all your answers on a paper. Once you're ready, you can resume this video and you can verify your answers. Here is the answer. Let's see how it goes. So I'm sure you must have written your answers correctly. So that's it. We're ending our session on present continuous tense. I hope I have been able to make this tense clear to you. If you like this video on my way of teaching, you can share it with your friends and family members, and you can subscribe to my channel. I'll be uploading a lot more videos on grammar that will boost your learning. In case of any queries or confusion, don't hesitate to write in comment section. I'll be happy to answer. I wish you all the best and happy learning.